So what I'd love to finish off with is a few little details in regard to the math that's happening in the grade node. So if we have a look at this, you could see here that I was kind of adding some color in here, and then I was leaving everything else the same. I was just adding the color in this bit. What you'd maybe want to do, a kind of a better way of doing this, and I'm going to just bring this over like this again, is to actually, now let's just get this in the general ballpark. And you can see here that I'm dragging that gain down to get it back there. Now before, what we did is we added our color in here, and that's fine. Let's say we've graded that in to match that. Now what if someone says, okay, that's fine, but I now want him to be half as bright, let's say. Well, the problem is half as bright would basically mean you'd have to half this value, and this value. And that's okay. That you could totally do that. You could maybe do a calculator or add an expression or something to be able to do that. But there's a better way. And what you can do is actually just set this multiplier to 0.5, and there you go. Now you're going to have half the brightness in that image. You're going to actually have done that math there. And I can prove it to you. So I'm going to put a grade node in, plug it into our plate, and I'm going to set the gain here, let's do this, to, let's set this one to 3. Perfect. Now I'm going to put another grade node in, and I'm going to set the gain to 6 and the multiplier to 0.5. And these two images will look exactly the same, as you can see. So why do they look exactly the same? Well, it's basically because the gain and the multiply are doing exactly the same thing. This is doing a multiply, and this is doing a multiply. So for instance, let's put another grade in. If I set the gain to 2, it's just gonna, if I sample this value, you can see that this is doubled. That's all it's doing. If I put 4 in, it'll be multiplied by 4. That's all that's doing. Same with the multiply here. If I put 2 in there, it's gonna do exactly the same thing. But I can prove it to you. Putting 2 in the gain instead. So we have a node here, 2 in the gain, node here, 2 in the multiply. They look exactly the same. So they're doing the exact same thing. So why is it that the Foundry have done that, right? That seems really bizarre. Well, it's actually because how this works is the grade node works down. So if I put a number in the black point, it now does that math and then moves to the white point. Then does that math, moves to the lift, does that math, moves to the gain, does that math, moves to the multiply. So it's not kind of hitting it all with the grade node at the same time. It's actually working down in this order. So what you can do, and the general kind of practice that I like to use, is I like to add my color to the gain, and then I use my multiply to adjust the brightness. So again, so we can do that, we can add our color, and then use the multiply then to just dial in your brightness if you feel the need to. And that's just a really great way to do things and keep things separated. Because now if you do get a note of, hey, I want it to be 20% less bright, then you can just, I mean, if you really want to do this, you can just add an expression, and then you can do 0.9 multiplied by 0.8, right? And then that's going to give you 20% of that number. And there you go. So that would give you it exactly. And now you can still adjust your values here. I'd maybe want to turn that off, but you can now adjust your values here in regards to your color, and you can see here I can just flick around my color, and then we can then adjust our multiply here. So there you go.